Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of NASCAR Heat 3 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we decide the final 8 drivers that will fight for a chance at the final 4 in Kansas here today. Obviously we are locked in to the next round of the round of 8, so we don't have any worries, obviously, coming off of a very rough race at Talladega after the final stage did not go to plan at all. And now we have Noah Gragson, who obviously is our playoff driver here in the Xfinity Series. Started in about P13. He ran into some trouble and picked up some damage, which set him actually quite a bit back as he came through now on the final lap, making some very aggressive moves, actually getting into some trouble there with Kaz Grala as he would run into just even more problems as he would get hit down the back straightaway. Cars are going spinning everywhere there as he would get involved in that, and it was an absolute disaster on the final lap for Noah Gragson here in the Xfinity Series as he would regroup the car there and try to get back going as he came through turns 3 and on the exit of turn 4. So a very, very unfortunate race here for Noah Gragson, and this is going to be a big hit in the points as he would come through, crossing the line and finishing in 28th there. And now you see he is 11 points out of the playoffs now going in towards the final 4. So now we cut straight through to qualifying in the Cup Series. We go P11 with a 30.489. So hopefully we can move forwards here throughout the race.
Today, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series returns to Kansas City, Kansas for the running of the Hollywood Casino 400. We're halfway through this year's playoff season, and after today, the list of playoff contenders will be cut from 12 to 8. In 2017, Martin Truex Jr. became the first driver to sweep both races at this 1.5-mile tri-oval on his way to his first ever NASCAR Cup Championship. Will Truex Jr. continue his recent dominance here, or will another driver emerge victorious and cement their spot in the next round? Let's head down to the track as the action is just about ready to get underway.
Alright, we're ready to decide the 4 drivers that will be eliminated from this round of 12 and the 8 that will be left remaining. Martin Truex Jr. remembers our antics, quote-unquote, now as Ryan Newman had to replace a transmission before the start of the race, so he is starting at the back, as well as Kurt Busch starting at the back as well after failing optical scanning station multiple times. Kansas is a track that has not treated us well at all in the past. We have one top 10 here in our 6th season career now in the Cup Series. It's a green flag is out, and we are underway getting ready to decide the 8 remaining drivers here in the playoffs. It's Kevin Harvick who leads the way. He is on the outside looking in at the moment here on the cut line. Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin, but Kyle Larson and Brad Keselowski are 2 other drivers on the outside looking in as well, so they are in need of some good days. Ryan Blaney, the other driver that's out currently, but he is pretty much in a must-win situation as we go down towards turns 3 and at turns 4. Chase Elliott, our teammate, just gets clear of me. Like I said earlier, we've only got one top 10 finish at this racetrack in our Cup Series career, and this is our 12th Kansas race of our Cup Series career, so obviously we haven't had the greatest record at this track in the past, but hopefully we can change that today with the top 10 as we go down towards turns 1, looking up the inside there of our Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Chase Elliott, and now our other Hendrick teammate of William Byron as we exit turn 2. He had a strong qualifying effort, but clearly not showing a very good race pace now as we head down the back straightaway. We would get past Byron and get to the back of Austin Dillon now as he would jump up to the top through turns 1 and turns 2 now on the 3rd lap, getting close to that seam, but not too close as that will mess up the car. As he went down the back straightaway, though, we would clear Austin Dillon for 8th place and continue moving through. We would pass Eric Jones for 7th and run down Joey Logano for P6 as he had started dropping through the order now as we went down towards turns 1 and turns 2. Now we're going to jump up to the top. Obviously, I love running the top at Kansas. This is one of the tracks that we can make it work, so you'll see me up here quite a bit throughout this race now as we exit turn 2, building up the momentum. We look to the inside of the 22 as we go down the back straightaway towards turns 3 side by side with the 22 of Joey Logano, and we would take over the 6th position. So showing a pace early on in this race that we've never really had at this racetrack in the past here in Kansas as we came through now on lap 14 of 19, starting to run down Kevin Harvick in the number 4 car as we came out of turn 4. Harvick, like I said, on the outside looking in as we have a lot of oversteer on the exit of the corner there. But we were slowly eating away at that gap to Kevin Harvick as we get loose through turn 3 now on lap 15. Just a handful of laps to go in this first stage now as Kevin Harvick goes spinning through the infield here with just 4 laps to go in the stage, and that's going to bring out the caution and end stage 1 early. Harvick still gets credited with 6th place in the stage, and surprisingly, he would remain in the race. I was expecting him to DNF, but he would not. So we would pick for 2 cans of fuel, 4 tires, come out in P5 for the start of stage 2. Kyle Busch did win stage 1 as a green flag is out, and stage 2 is underway here in Kansas. Kyle Larson and Brad Keselowski both up inside of the top 5 currently, both in need of very good races here today if they want to make it into the round of 8 here in the playoffs as we go down towards turns 1. Eric Almirola on my back bumper. Martin Truex Jr. leads that outside lane. Not a good restart for him and not a good restart for myself as we lose a lot of speed down the back straightaway. We're going to side draft the 3 of Austin Dillon to make sure he doesn't get ahead of us as we go down into turn 3. But getting some stage points in stage 1 is certainly very good for ourselves, and certainly hoping that we can continue that throughout the rest of this race. Usually we struggle to get inside the top 10, but today, right now, we're comfortably running inside of the top 10, almost like we've finally maybe figured something out now as we go down into turns 1 and turns 2 back up to the top of the track towards the wall. In the stage 2, it's going to be a little bit harder to run the top because the more the tires wear, the less the top will work in our favor, so we would have to end up dropping back down to the bottom as Kyle Busch continues to lead the way. Like I said, he did win stage 1. Kyle Busch clearly a favorite right now this season. He's been a favorite in our career mode in the past, and he's run into issues. Obviously, last season he did win the championship, but Martin Truex Jr., he would get past Kyle Larson, and he would be passing Brad Keselowski, who came through now on lap 9, and we were just kind of hovering around in P5 at this point as Larson, he would get past Keselowski, so Keselowski drops to 4th, but it was pretty much a 5-car runaway, and it's not going to no longer be a runaway because we get a caution for maybe Ryan Newman, but we do have a bunch of cars pitting, and this will set us up for a restart here past the halfway point in this second stage as we get ready to restart P5 with Kyle Busch and Truex on the front row as the green flag once again is out, and once again we are underway here in Kansas. Behind us is Joey Logano and Chase Elliott. In front it's Larson and Busch, and Truex leading the outside lane once again. Not a good restart for Truex again as we go through turns 1 and turns 2 on his inside. We have to be a little bit careful here. We don't want to get into any incidents with Martin Truex Jr. now as we exit turn 2, heading down the back straightaway. Keselowski gets clear of me, and now our teammate Chase Elliott looks to our outside as we go down into turns 3 and turns 4. I was pretty content with P5 at this point as we came through turn 3, clearing the 9 of Elliott, but certainly if we have a chance, we can definitely pass the 2 of Keselowski. Now as Larson has jumped up to that second position as we come through to complete the lap. Kyle Busch certainly setting a really strong pace right now in this race as we go through turns 1 and turns 2, back up to the top of the track. Even with worn tires, you can sometimes make the top work on these early laps on a restart as we went down the back straightaway, just at this moment sitting in behind the 2 of Brad Keselowski as he went down into turn 3. He now puts the pressure on Truex now as he's going to look to the inside of Martin Truex Jr. as we exit turn 4. Obviously, it was only a handful of laps to go on the stage. I wasn't going to force any issues with Martin Truex Jr., so I would stay in behind him, and Kyle Busch would drop from the lead actually all the way down to P4 as we came through to start this final lap in the stage. So Truex moves up into P3 at this point as the tires were really falling off at this point, so I was just kind of holding my own. Now you see me dropping down to the bottom in turns 1 and turns 2 because the tires were just destroyed at this point, that the top line wasn't going to get me anywhere as we went down the back straightaway for the final time here in stage 2. But somehow, for once, we can kind of say we're one of the top 5 fastest cars here in Kansas. Usually, we're like a 15th place car, so certainly a good car right now for us as we come through. Kyle Larson wins the stage here in this second stage, and we get P5, so a good group of points that really don't matter for us right now. But Kyle Larson with the stage victory, that will help him. Him and Brad Keselowski have run great so far, so they have a good opportunity here to make it into the next round, as you would take 2 cans of fuel and 4 tires for the third stage. And unfortunately, we dropped down to P23, so it's going to make our chances of getting a top 10 even harder now as we get ready to start this third and final stage here. Who's going to make it to the round of 8? We're about to find out very shortly as the green flag is out, and we are underway for this third and final stage here in Kansas. Eric Almirola just in front of me. He's had a strong playoffs, but certainly not looking like he's having a strong run today here in Kansas as we go down towards turns 1 and turns 2 for the first time in this third stage. William Byron, our teammate, drops in behind me as he started on that outside lane, but he wants to be on the bottom as quick as possible. This is one of the tracks, though, that if we could be up top for a restart, I would love that, but obviously we've been getting only inside lane restarts today. Usually when we want the inside lane, we get put up to the top, so a little bit ironic now as we come through turns 3 and on the exit of turn 4 on the back bumper of Eric Jones, who's not having a great run. He might make it into the final 8 still. I don't think it's too much of an issue for Jones right now. He should be comfortably still inside of this round of 8 as we go down towards turns 1 and turns 2. Obviously getting up to the top lane as quick as possible. Now as Martin Truex Jr. is actually putting the pressure on Kyle Larson for that lead position as we go down the back straightaway here on the outside of Eric Jones as we go down towards turns 3. I usually don't run the top in turn 3, but on the restarts we definitely need to now as we come through the center of the corner on the exit of turn 4, very close to that seam, and if you really get on that seam, it will really upset your car to where you usually crash, but we got lucky there now as we came through with 23 laps to go in this race, going going down towards turns 1 and turns 2. Almirola battling it out there with Jones as we're going to try and make it 3 wide here as we exit turn 2, trying to be as aggressive as possible because we're running out of time very quickly in this stage, and we would continue moving forward up to now 20 laps to go. We had climbed up to P13 at this point. Battling now with Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer on the outside lane. We would make it 3 wide up the middle down the back straightaway between the two Stewart-Haas Racing teammates as we went down towards turn 3, pushing up the track just a little bit there as we do clear Clint Boyer though, and Harvick stays ahead for the moment as me and him would both run down our Hendrick teammate of Chase Elliott now as we came through turns 1 and turns 2. Now on lap 50 doing the same thing, jumping up to the top as we came through on the exit of turn 2, making it 3 wide once again up the middle between Harvick and now our teammate of Chase Elliott as we go down the back straightaway towards turn 3. We clear Kevin Harvick and now we're going to clear Chase Elliott through the corner and move back up inside the top 10 here in Kansas as Kyle Busch at the moment leads the way, and Larson falling down the order now as Chase Elliott's going to battle back, and we're going to throw a big block on the 9 of Chase Elliott, pushing him up almost towards the wall as we head down towards turns 1. Now Harvick looks back to the inside as we come through the center of the corner. Not the way I like to race a teammate, but I wasn't letting Chase Elliott get to my outside, so I threw a pretty big block on him. I felt a little bit bad for that, but I did what I needed to do there, and we would pass Ricky Stenhouse Jr. now as we came through to lap 56, and we had climbed up to P9, but the caution would come out for Joey Logano. Joey Logano, of course, the driver in the playoffs, but now he might be outside of the cut line with that incident. He's still in the race, but he is towards the bank as the green flag is once again out. We're going to make it 3 wide here with Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson. Only 8 laps remain here in the round of 8 as we go down towards turns 1. Keselowski at this point was leading the way. Kyle Busch had fallen once again. He has led a lot in this race, but he's fallen quite a bit now as we come through turns 2, looking to the inside of Kyle Busch. A very aggressive restart for ourselves, and it's paying off as we're almost in a top 5 position at this point as we go down towards turns 3 and turns 4. Not a lot of time remaining here in Kansas now as we're going to have the edge over Busch as we come through on the exit of turn 4, coming through to complete the first lap since the restart, side by side with the 18 of Busch, trying to look to the inside as well of Ryan Blaney, and sure enough we look to the inside of Blaney and clear Kyle Busch, and now we're going to clear Ryan Blaney for P4. 7 laps remain here in Kansas, and we would continue running 4th as we came through with just 3 laps to go though, and Kyle Busch would actually get to me and look to my inside. My tires were completely destroyed at this point, so we come through now approaching the final lap here in Kansas. Ryan Blaney closing in on me. We only have 1 top 10 in our Kansas career, and we've never gotten a top 5, so I'm going to fight very hard through turns 1 and turns 2 to try and get our first ever top 5 in our last race at Kansas in NASCAR Heat 3 career mode. As we head down the back straightaway, we're going to throw a block there on the 12 of Blaney, being very defensive as we go down towards turns 3 and turns 4 for the final time here in Kansas. Kurt Busch is in front right now as we exit turn 4, trying to be as defensive as possible over Ryan Blaney, and sure enough it's going to pay off as we come through to get our first ever top 5 at Kansas Motor Speedway. Very surprised with that effort as Kurt Busch wins the race, so he picks up the victory. Martin Truex Jr. second, still winless on the season. Joey Logano crashing late in this race ends up finishing 31st. Alex Bowman, our teammate, got 36, so those two might be now on the outside looking in, and they might very well be eliminated from the playoffs. And sure enough, there you see it. Alex Bowman, Eric Jones, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney have all been eliminated. Bowman, Jones, and Logano all had the same amount of points right there, so that could have gotten very interesting if there would have been some type of tie for like the last spot. That would have certainly been interesting to see how that would have played out. But there you see, just 200 cars remain in the playoffs now for the round of 8, and obviously we have a very strong track coming up for us at the start of this round of 8, and that is obviously Martinsville. We've gotten multiple wins at that track in the past, so I'm very confident that we can go to Martinsville and lock our way or lock ourselves into the Final Four. Hopefully I can bring you guys a victory there. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Those would all be very, very appreciated. And we will now look at the playoff grid here for the round of 8. We go into this round, it's actually 11 points to the good since Chase Elliott is the first guy out, 4 points out. So we have an 11-point buffer to start this round, so hopefully we can go to Martinsville and win. That's really the main goal. Otherwise, Texas, sometimes tough. ISM always tough, so we'll see how it goes. But that'll do it for this episode. So thank you for watching, everybody, and have yourselves a great day.